I'm Kate Jwaskiewicz. I am a mother of 4, wife, daughter, sister, aunt, and friend to many. My official title is Northeast Regional Manager for the CLIMB, which is a program of Postpartum Support International. I have been with the CLIMB as a staff member for just over a year. Prior to that, I was a volunteer with PSI as a peer mentor, and I also lead the CLIMB in Syracuse, New York each year. I also started a free support group in Syracuse called Health, Strength, Love that provides a safe space for families and birthing individuals to come and talk about all things motherhood, parenthood, what is happening-hood. My personal mission statement is to be a loving, empowering, and accepting individual, and to share that same sentiment with my children, at the same time allowing them and encouraging them to be their true selves, while still being loving and accepting and empowering of all people around them. The process that led me to where I am today was a long road. I was born in Albany, New York, moved to Canandaigua with my family when I was in 8th grade, and then went to Cleveland for school and eventually ended up here in Syracuse. I was raised by 2 of the most incredibly supportive, loving, and philanthropic parents in the world, and they instilled within my brother and myself to be loving and open and vulnerable and kind to everyone. And so I was raised with that philanthropic spirit, so I've always been involved with nonprofit organizations, both in my career and in the volunteer mode. After my son was born, Miles, he just turned 8, I started to experience a myriad of perinatal mental health disorders. The most well-known, of course, depression and anxiety. However, I experienced disorders including rage, blackouts, and intrusive thoughts. At that time, I decided to purchase a franchise called Baby Boot Camp, which rebranded to Momletta, and that is a fitness program for moms where you bring your little ones with you. And the community of women that I met there started my healing process and really saved my life. Once I was recovering from PMHDs, I decided to volunteer with Postpartum Support International. I became a peer mentor, meaning I was connected with new moms that were experiencing the same type of symptoms that I had when I was going through my journey. And I was there to support them one-on-one, have conversation with them. This was 99% virtual. I did get to meet a couple of them in person, which was wonderful. Once I learned more about PSI and their mission, I learned about the CLIMB, which is a program of PSI. And I realized that there had never been one in Syracuse, New York. And I was like, we're gonna do this. So I brought the CLIMB to Syracuse, New York. The first one was in 2023. And so this will be our 3rd year leading the CLIMB here in Syracuse. It'll be in September of this year. But it was my journey and my healing from perinatal mental health disorders that led me to my career and now my mission to fully support and help all other birthing individuals heal. Postpartum Support International's mission is to provide free resources for birthing families, training for professionals, and a way to connect the two. So we see, again, the mission is twofold, but we are providing support, peer support, resources for families who are dealing with all perinatal mental health disorders. And again, those are things like depression and anxiety, but we're looking at bigger and less spoken of problems like rage, blackouts, intrusive thoughts, suicidal ideations, and psychosis. And these are issues that are affecting at 1 in 5 moms and 1 in 10 dads. And we use the term mom and dad, so we like to say birthing individual and support partner, because not everyone identifies as a mom, not everyone identifies as a dad. And so that's another way where we at PSI provide as much support as we can. We are extremely inclusive with our language to make sure that everyone feels seen and heard. And so we provide trainings for providers across the country and internationally, so that they are able to fully support their clients and their patients. And then we work to connect those providers with families who are in need. And we have multiple volunteers across the country, and every single state in the United States has a chapter that is chock full of volunteers. And then we're also in, I think, 26 additional countries internationally as well. The biggest challenges in providing mental health support to new families is the stigma around sharing your story, and I can speak to this in myself because it took me many years to share my story about what happened to me and what I was feeling and the actions that I took after Miles was born. There's embarrassment, there's shame, there's fear of your baby being taken away from you. If you speak up, there's the shame and even potentially talking to your partner about this. That stigma increases in our underserved populations exponentially. And that is where PSI steps in and is working tirelessly to make sure that the resources and the support is there for our underserved populations. All of our people of color, and refugee populations, and that's really big here, especially in Syracuse. There's also the access to care, so whether it's transportation, to see a provider, to find those resources, lack of internet access to download and receive information, insurance, the cost of potentially seeing a psychotherapist or a pelvic floor physical therapist that could physically help you along in your journey so that your mind can start to heal. But I would say the biggest obstacle is the stigma that we unfortunately still see today. Syracuse is my home, and my parents will tell you that I fought that. I was born in Albany, moved to Canandaigua, went to school in Cleveland, Ohio, and I have absolutely incredible, beautiful memories. My parents still live in Canandaigua, multiple friendships in all those areas, and I reluctantly moved to Syracuse for graduate school in 2002. I don't know why I was so against it, but I was here probably less than 6 months where I was like, this place is really amazing. And it didn't take long for me to realize that there was so much here, so much opportunity, so many people doing such good work in Syracuse. And then I met my husband, and I'm like, of course I'm staying. My babies were born here. This is home. And again, while I still have connections in Albany and Canandaigua, and of course my college years in Cleveland, I consider Syracuse my home. The advice I would give to someone watching this video, if you're watching it and thinking, I need help, I want you to know that you're not alone, you're not to blame, and with help, you will be well. You will recover. You will be well. And for anyone watching this that's thinking, I know someone, because I know there is at least multiple people that are watching this saying, I know someone. It's okay to reach out and just provide that space for them to share their story if they're ready, or just to let them know that you're there for them. The biggest thing that community members can do and individuals to help support families going through maternal mental health crises is to provide a safe space, educate yourselves, perhaps find where there are resources available that you can share with the family. But I think it is just, again, which is the mission of Health, Strength, Love, my support group, is to provide a safe space for anyone to come and to talk. And whether it's just talking and everyone around in that circle there is just either just nodding their head or putting their arm around you for support, or being like, yup, me too. Thank you for saying that. Me too. Because that is what I have experienced by sharing my story. The number of people that have come to me and been like, thank you for saying that, because, yep, me too. And I feel safe saying that.